Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yasodhanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yasodhanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavi Hari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavi Hari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yasodhanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yasodhanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Gopinata, Radha Gopinata Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Shama Sundar, Radha Shama Sundar Shri Radhe. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura, Hari Bol.
Hare. Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Thank you for that very melodious kirtan. Hare Krishna, all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. We are very, very fortunate to have today with us His Holiness Bhakti Anugraha Janardana Swami. Maharaj is a disciple of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, and in 2014 he was awarded sannyas initiation by His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj is recommended making him a member of the Vrindavan Executive Board. His Holiness Bhakti Anugraha Janardana Swami has also passed the Bhakti Shastri test. He has been preaching in New Delhi, Vrindavan, and in Philippines. His Holiness Bhakti Anugraha Janardana Swami travels with His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj and has been assigned the work of preaching in Philippines. His Holiness Bhakti Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj is His Holiness Bhakti Anugraha Janardana Swami's mentor. Hare Krishna. So we are very, very fortunate to have His Maharaj's association today, and we are very eager to hear from him the nectar of Srimad Bhagavat Gita. So let us all enthusiastically welcome Maharaj by chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 3 times. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Hare. Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama, Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Welcome, Maharaj. Over to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna to all the devotees in Kanaya Desh Yatra, which means Kuwait.
Yes.
This is a privilege for me to be with you today, and to all the devotees, different parts of the world like Philippines or Russia. We also go to different parts of the world, like as we mentioned, Russia or Mauritius, South Africa, US, Canada. So today is from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 28. Is that correct?
Yes, Maharaj. Yes.
All right. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Gyanangyana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Snapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Visakambitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vindavanisvari Visabhanu Sute Deve Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Vyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaisnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Text 28 from the Bhagavad Gita as is, chapter 2. Contents of the Gita summarized. Abyaktadini bhutani vyaktamadhyani bharata avyakta nidhanani eva tatra ka paridevana Abyaktadini bhutani vyaktamadhyani bharata Avyaktani dhanani eva tatra ka paridevana. Word for word meaning, Avyakta adini, in the beginning, unmanifested. Bhutani, all that created. Vyakta, manifested. Madhyani, in the middle. Bharata, O descendant of Bharata. Avyakta, non-manifested. Nidhanani, when vanquished. Eva, it is all like that. Tatra, therefore. Ka, what? Paridevana, lamentation. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. All created beings are unmanifest in their beginning, manifest in their interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So, what need is there for lamentation? Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. According or accepting that there are two classes of philosophers, one believing in the existence of the soul and the other not believing in the existence of the soul, there is no cause for lamentation in either case. Non-believers in the existence of the soul are called atheists by followers of Vedic wisdom. Yet, even for argument's sake, we accept this atheistic theory. There is still no cause for lamentation. Apart from the separate existence of the soul, the material elements remain unmanifested before creation. From this subtle state of non-manifestation comes manifestation, just as from ether, air is generated, from air, fire is generated, from fire, water is generated, and from water, earth becomes manifested. From the earth, many varieties of manifestations take place. Take, for example, a big skyscraper manifested from the earth. When it is dismantled, the manifestation becomes again unmanifested and remains as atoms in the ultimate stage. The law of conservation of energy remains, but in course of time. But in course of time, where is that again here? Sorry, one of where I'm reading is it got lost.
Things are manifested.
Things are manifested and unmanifested. That is the difference. Then what cause is there for lamentation? Either in the stage of manifestation or in unmanifestation. Somehow or other, even in the unmanifested stage, things are not lost. Both at the beginning and at the end, all elements remain unmanifested. And only in the middle are they manifested, and this does not make any real material difference. And if we accept the Vedic conclusion as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, that these material bodies are perishable in due course of time, anta banta ime deha, but that the soul is eternal, nitya shukta saririna, then we must remember always that the body is like a dress. Therefore, why lament the changing of a dress? The material body has no factual existence in relation to the eternal soul. It is something like a dream. In a dream, we may think of flying in the sky or sitting in a chariot as a king. But when we wake up, we can see that we are neither in the sky nor seated on the chariot. The Vedic wisdom encourages self-realization on the basis of non-existence of the material body. Therefore, in either case, whether one believes in the existence of the soul or one does not believe in the existence of the soul, there is no cause for lamentation for loss of the body. Hare Krishna. Again the verse. Avyakta dini bhutani vyakta madhyani bharata abyaktani dhanani eva tatra paridevana. Lamentation. There is no need for lamentation according to Lord Krishna as he is speaking to Arjuna. Let's say there is no soul and only that we are just made out of these different chemical compositions. As one can buy, it will not even cost 100 rupees, all of these different chemicals that compose the body. And if the scientists can put it together, which is, they can put it together, but they cannot create life. So it is not possible for them to create life out of matter. But let's just say we believe that there is no soul. So what is there for one to lament? At the time of death, it becomes unmanifest before the soul enters into the body of the mother. Then, as Prabhupada says, it becomes emulsification starts. Emulsification, the mixture of the semen coming from the father towards the embryo of the mother. Then there is an emulsification, and in the beginning is like a pea size. The body starts to manifest, just like the size of the peas, like very, very small. And then from there, life begins. So when one takes birth, that is the interim state or intermediate state. And there is boyhood, childhood, youth, manhood, old age, and then death. 6 different transformations of the body. So, yes, and what about if there is a soul? And when the body dies, if soul is eternal, as we heard from the very start of the teachings of Lord Krishna to Arjuna. The first teachings that there is a soul in this body is from the 13th sloka of this same chapter, Bhagavat Gita. See, from text 11 to text 30, the real identity of the living beings are being explained. And it starts with the first instruction or knowledge coming from Lord Krishna, text 13. Dehino sminyata dehe kaumaram yovanam jara tata dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namuyate. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body, from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. So this body is just like the covering for the soul. You don't say, one cannot say rather that who am I that you don't have a soul. Actually, you don't have a soul. You are the soul. It is wrong to say that I have a soul. Actually, I am the soul. I have the body. This body is like made of two material elements, gross and subtle. Gross means earth, water, fire, air, ether. Bumir, apo, nalo, bayo. And then the three subtle elements, material elements, kam, mano, buddhir, evacha, ahankar. Then this ahankar. Bina, prakriti, astida. These three subtle, mind, intelligence, and ego, and then five gross. These compose this material body. It is like a shirt custom made for the living entity to experience one's joy or sufferings due to the desire, and also at the time of death what one is thinking, and also due to the different activities that one performed in the previous life. So whatever body that I have right now, yes, I can say my body, it belongs to the body. Actually, it doesn't belong to me. This body belongs to Krishna because this is material energy, made of material energy. We don't own anything. Krishna is the ultimate proprietor. So we are engaged in this body, the soul, the self-conscious living entity. Conscious, that means the living entity is superior in nature than compared to this material energy. But because we identify with the body as the self, then we suffer or enjoy. It says that the soul is compared to a passenger. And the horses in the chariot is compared to the senses, the reins that controls the driver. Between the driver and the horses is the mind, and the intelligence is the driver. So, the senses has to be controlled by the mind, and the mind has to be also under control by the intelligence. In the fourth canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the story of King Puranjana, there is this story between Narad Muni and King Prachinibarhisat, where King Prachinibarhisat is being taught about how to become detached from this body. The body is compared to a city of 9 gates. The 2 eyes, the 2 nostrils, the mouth, the 2 ears, the genital, and the anus. And King Puranjana is compared to ourselves, the living beings. But the living beings is very attached to a beautiful woman, which is compared to the intelligence. And therefore, he became so attached, the next life, King Puranjana became a female. And that is another story. It's quite a very nice allegory is given by Narad Muni to understand that we should not be attached to this body, because there is a time element that controls everyone. Time I am the controller or the destroyer of everything. So, going back to the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, the first teaching is that who am I? I am not this body. that our body is composed of this gross body and subtle body, and the soul is encaged. And whenever we change our body, next life, when one takes birth, death is certain. And when one dies, birth is certain. Either you take a material form or you take a spiritual form next life. When you become purified, you will still take another form. So as long as we have this desires to enjoy the material world, then the living entities becomes covered up by the modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance. So one may ask, so who is actually the doer? Is the soul the doer? No. Actually, the doer is the material energy. We're just like, again, we're just like the passenger. The soul doesn't have anything to do with the material world, but the coverings of the misidentification of the body as the self that keeps us returning again and again in different forms of body, 8,400,000 species of life. So now, the question is, how is it that we sometimes remember and sometimes we don't remember? Just like the story of Bharat Maharaj. He changed his body. He was a king before, but then he became attached to a deer, a baby deer. He was in the forest. He gave up his kingdom, and somehow, while meditating, he heard there was this deer, and a female deer, and because of the roar of a lion, the son of the lion, the female deer who is pregnant had miscarriage. She gave birth to a baby deer, and the mother died. And Bharat Maharaj took care of that baby deer, and then he became absorbed. He became slack from doing his sadhana. He became more and more absorbed with the deer. He's thinking of the deer all the time. Instead of thinking of Krishna all the time, he was thinking of the deer all the time. So what happened is that at the time of death, he is thinking of deer. And next life, guess what? He became a deer. Because that's what it says in the Bhagavad Gita. Yam yam bhapi smaran bhavam cha jante ante kalevaram. Whatever one thinks at the time of death, that he will attain. But now, because he is a very highly evolved soul, very elevated soul, he's already in the Bhava Bhakti. Bhava Bhakti means the preliminary stage before one reaches Prema Bhakti. This is like compared to the early in the morning, before the sun rises, before the sun reach appear in the horizon, there is this sun rays that one can say or one can tell that the sun is coming up. So what happened is that he remembered that he remembered that he became attached to the deer. And so what happened is, how is it that he can remember? How is it that he can remember? He remembered because whenever we change our body from one to the next, after death we take another form. The three subtle material elements, mind, intelligence, and ego, goes with the soul. It's attached to the soul, even though it is material. And also, there is one personality who is also accompanying the soul wherever the soul goes. If the soul goes, takes birth as a pig, or as a dog, or as a fish, or as a tree, or as a bird, there is this one unknown friend who's always with him. And this is the super soul. Super soul, or the Paramatma, the feature of the Supreme Lord who accompanies all the living entities. Actually, he is the knower of the field of activities. He knows past, present, and future. He knows whatever is going on, and whatever we will even think of ahead of time, he knows. And his main function or duty is to be the witness, ultimate witness. So this body, there are two souls, the Paramatma and the Atma. And he is the permitter. Permitter means he can also control. If he is the permitter, he's also the ultimate controller. Just like whatever you wish to do, you may be able to do it if you're qualified, but if you're not qualified, you cannot do it. So who is controlling? Ultimately, the Paramatma also. He is the controller and the Paramatma. And also, he is the witness. So we cannot say that I can do anything and everything in life. According to the Shastra, we are culpable for all the activities that we perform. And that's why there is what you call the law of karma. So changing of the body is like changing from old shirt to new shirt. But for the soul, there is neither birth or death. Najayate mriyate bakadachin nayam budva bhavita vanabuya. Ajo nitya sasvatoyam purano nahanyate hanyamani sarire. He has not come into being, he does not come into being, and will not come into being. That means the soul is eternal. It is not that, of course, it says in the Shastras that we are created by the Supreme Lord, but you cannot trace in the history when the living beings come in contact with the material energy. He is unborn. Even though we are created, unborn means yes, there is no, you cannot trace in the history when we were created. Of course, we have what you call birthday. In this human form of life, many, if not everyone, is celebrating their birthday. But for the soul, there is no birth and there is no death. There is a lifespan when the living being becomes manifest, taking this material form. In the human platform, he knows that he has to actually have one main purpose. He should know that there is a purpose of human form of life, self-realization, understanding who am I, what is the purpose of life, who is the source of everything, and what is my duty unto him. It's like if there's an energy, there is what you call energetic. If you see the sunshine, that means there is a sun. And there is also the sun planet. So whose energy? God, the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. Ever existing, eternal. When the body dies, the soul remains the same, untouched, but it can be covered up and embodied with the material energy. He is not slain when the body is slain. It doesn't really die. So how can we understand that there is existence of the soul? The common sense understanding is like when you sleep, your mind still works, it becomes self-conscious. You remember things, you forget things, and sometimes they have what you call near-death experience. Actually, Prabhupada says that sleep is temporary death. But there is also what we call near-death experience. Medically, they may be pronounced dead already, but then after a few moments or even few hours, somehow or other, the soul comes back to the body, and the soul, the body seems to like functioning again because the soul came back to the body. So this is what we call near-death experience. There's what we call out-of-body experience. This like astral projection. I remember when I was a young boy, I used to try this astral projection. You know, it's just like you meditate and somehow you're going somewhere out there in space or in the cosmos. There's what we call past life memories also. Medically also, this has been done. Even like children, there'll be what's that, past life regression. They will say where they lived before. They will say what was the cause of their death. They will say the place. Many things that happened, important things happen in their life, and according to some studies, they also came true. Many actually had experience of their past lives to be true. So this is evidences for existence of the soul. So we cannot escape the miseries of life. Sometimes people who are in great agony or depressed, they will say, "Oh, why is this happening to me? I cannot stand this anymore." So they tend to destroy or damage their body. Some of them, they even commit suicide. Committing suicide is considered as a sin according to the law of man, and according to the law of nature, if one commits suicide, giving up this body untimely, then one becomes a ghost. That means the soul's next body is not ready yet, and if untimely one gives up his body by committing suicide, then the soul will not have any gross body to take. And therefore, with the subtle body, mind, intelligence, and ego, the soul will be just wandering here and there, wandering here and there. So yes, the living beings are invisible in the beginning and becomes manifest in the middle and becomes invisible again at the end. So what is there to lament? But it is says in the Shastra that there is a soul. There is a soul. And the soul has to be it is always pure. It's full of knowledge, bliss, and eternity. Purity is there, but when we come in contact with the material energy and takes this material form, then we become covered up. So to come to our original state, we have to purify these different senses that we have. 5 acquiring senses and the 5 working senses. We have to purify the mind, who is the center of all of these senses. We have to purify our ego. We have to purify our intelligence. How do you purify this? By at least coming to the mode of goodness first. We have to channel all of these senses in the proper direction. Using the eyes to see the Lord or His devotees, to read the Shastras. Using the sense of taste only for eating Krishna Prasadam which are offered to the Supreme Lord. using the sense of taste also, or the tongue. We have two functions, to vibrate and to taste, especially vibrating the holy name of the Lord, the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. How about the nose? How we can purify? By smelling the flowers offered to Lord Krishna, or incense offered to Lord Krishna, or different fragrances offered to Lord Krishna. How about the hearing? The ears, how we can purify? By hearing only Krishna Katha, or everything that has in relation with Krishna, different instructions, hearing from Bhagavat Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing from the right source, hearing from bona fide representatives of the Supreme Lord. How do we purify our sense of touch? By decorating the deities, or putting on tilak, or embracing devotees. That means, touching the devotees. In this way, it's like friends, they touch each other, they hug each other when they've been apart for a long time. So in this way, it becomes purified. The mind, manmana bhava madbhakto madhyajimam namaskuru. Always think of me, always remember me, pay your homage unto me. So the mind is the central focus of the senses, and when the mind is controlled by the intelligence, so how the mind is being controlled by the intelligence? Proper intelligence means to know what needs to be done and what is not to be done, based from the instructions coming from Guru, Sadhu, and Sastra. The ego, this hankar, we have original ego, we have purified ego. Right now it's ahankar. It's impure because we think that we are the body. That means we identify we're Indians, we're Hindus, we're Christians, we're Muslims, we're Americans, we're Filipinos. So in this way, ahankar, this is ahankar. But our real identity is that we're all servants of the servants of the servants of the servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. So in either way, whether there is a soul or there is no soul, one need not to lament. He's trying to convince, Lord Krishna is trying to convince Arjuna to fight, because as his duty, it is his duty to fight, to reestablish the principles of religion. So we have to somehow come to the platform of purified state of consciousness. And we can do that if we follow especially strict sadhana, getting up early in the morning, do Mangal Arti, chant our rounds, a prescribed number of rounds. For those who are initiated, they should fulfill the agreement at the time of initiation to chant minimum 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra in their beads. And for those who are not initiated, they should also have a fixed number of rounds to chant every day. And then in this way, gradually come to the minimum 16 rounds. Follow the 4 regulative principles. No meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, and no intoxication. Read Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. And in this way, we purify our consciousness and we come into the platform of pure goodness. That even in this lifetime, one can have his body become spiritualized. Does not have to wait at the time of to have a spiritual form. It's like Prabhupada. Prabhupada's form is eternal, is spiritual. the one that He showed to us, the one He manifests, the body that He has is not a material body, unlike what we have. But this body also can become purified. It becomes spiritualized by following all of these instructions based from the spiritual master and the disciplic succession and based from the Vedic scriptures. So either we are, let's say there's no soul, and there is a soul, there's nothing to lament. But Prabhupada also gave one time a statement. Let's say there is no God. So when you die, then there is no God. But we believe that there is God. And we can realize that there is God. So for the materialists, it's a loss for them to not to believe that there is no God. To believe that there is no God is a loss for them. Right now, we have taste for serving the Supreme Lord. Even though that taste is very minute because we are still in the purifying process. We're not really completely purified. But we know that if I keep doing what I'm doing day after day, be determined, my faith increases day by day, I will one day realize and will see Krishna face to face. And we are enjoying, as Prabhupada says, we enjoy prasad, we enjoy harikatha, we enjoy kirtan. When we are tired from doing kirtan,
Maharaj, your audio is breaking. I think the net connection is.
Network problem only.
Yeah, network problem.
life is very, very
Hare Krishna, I think Maharaj network issues are there. I think Maharaj will log in back again. So
I think Chandramshi Prabhu will call him.
yeah.
पदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं चाप्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं त्वं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सगन ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj is back. So, 1 minute, let me. Hare Krishna Maharaj, welcome back. So, I think there was network issue between, we lost connection. The audio is not coming, Maharaj.
Unmute. Oh, right. Can you hear me?
Yes, now okay, Maharaj.
I apologize.
Yes.
The internet connection here is really not the best. Vrindavan.
Hare Krishna.
Actually, I was connecting myself through my phone, but
Now it's
now
there.
it looks like my connection is back. Did you hear my last comment or my last statement?
Yes, Maharaj. It is like if we were saying that if you believe in God, or if you don't believe in God, like Srila Prabhupada was saying, that even if you don't believe in God, no, we have cultivated some minute taste, and we know that if we continue this process, we will be getting like this. This is what we were discussing.
Yeah, we will continue. Let's say there is no God. We are enjoying now, right? But if there is God, then next life we continue to enjoy in Krishna consciousness. So for the materialist who doesn't believe in God, their life is boring, and next life it'll be the same thing again. More suffering and miseries. So we are in a win-win situation here because we're experiencing some kind of happiness in what we are doing. So I will stop there now in that statement. Is there anything else you have any question or any points, any comments you wish to mention, to say?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So thank you very much for your very enlightening class. Devotees have any questions? You can unmute yourself and ask Maharaj.
You can raise your hand. I don't know how you raise your hand. You should show them.
Yeah, I will unmute themselves. I enabled unmute themselves so they can unmute or raise their hand. We can then go for questions. Hare Krishna. I think there is a network issue again. Anipashan Krishna Babu, again network problem.
Right, okay, Prabhuji, you can hear.
Yes. Okay. Maharaj, I have a question. You are able to hear? You are able to hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
So we understand about the suicide is not allowed. But there are also sometimes situations where people, they have some very terminal kind of illness and like kind of medically they have facing a lot of issues, and there are certain countries which are allowing them, like they kind of have that country have the law that they can give up their body because of their terminal illness, and it is sure that they will not be living long, but they have kind of experiencing tremendous pain or so much uncomfort, and then
Right.
and then they kind of, like certain countries, they allow that they go to the hospital and they get they leave their body there by the certain procedures. So
I,
how?
uh, I would suggest that let wait till one dies. I mean, we all have a certain quota or amount of time in this body. So let it be. Only one thing is for sure that it is allowed in our teachings, that one can live one's body without eating. One can, if one is prepared to die, he can stop eating. Okay, but to put the person to sleep through injection or some artificial means, this is against the law of nature. It's like Parikshit Maharaj, isn't it? Parikshit Maharaj, he was prepared to leave his body by fasting. So in our teachings, a very noble way how to live one's body is that he can give up eating. And that is allowed. But to say that you'll be injected with little weapon or something that will put you to sleep, we don't accept that. That is considered as artificial.
Okay, Maharaj. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very much. I think there is a question in the chat box. Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandur Pranams. Please accept my humble obeisances. Kanakanga Chaitanya Prabhu. When a soul is full of knowledge, how it can be ignorant and trapped in this material world? If someone has knowledge, he will participate. He will not participate in such activities like material activities.
Yeah,
So,
the soul is full of knowledge, but due to coming in contact with the material energy, you don't identify with yourself, the soul, as yourself. You misidentify the body as the self. And therefore, your intelligence, your knowledge becomes covered up. You think that you are from Punjab, or you think that your body took birth in Kashmir, or your body took birth in America. Your body came from a different country. You identify with your family. You identify with your friends. But you are not that. You are separate from those because they are temporary. You're identifying with temporary things. That's why you suffer. If you identify you're not this body, your spirit soul, I'm servant of Lord Krishna, and my life is meant to serve Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas, then you are properly situated. You're using your intelligence properly. You are happy in that way. On the contrary, you serve your body, you serve your family, you mistakenly thinking that you are the body, then your knowledge becomes covered up. Mayaya aparitagyana. Your knowledge has been stolen by the material energy, thinking that you are the body. And therefore, whatever actions that you perform, if it doesn't have anything to do with Krishna, it will be the cause of your sufferings. Is okay?
Thank you, Maharaj. And there is one more question in the chat box. Hare Krishna Maharaj, is Jivatma and Paramatma is differently staying in our body? It's one question from
What do you
Smitosh.
mean differently staying? What does that mean? What language is that? Differently staying.
Smitosh Prabhu, can you unmute and ask the questions in more clarity?
It says,
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
yes.
Yeah, it's separately is within our body or in one state. Actually, Jivatma and Paramatma.
Listen, there are two different individuals in this body. It is compared to a tree. There are two birds sitting on a tree. So those two birds are always separate. It cannot become one. But within the body, and the super soul is just a witness. He's an observer. Haribol? An observer. Watching what's going on. He's the witness. That's why you cannot say, I did not do it. You cannot say, I did not lie. You cannot say, oh, I told the truth, but actually one is lying. You cannot deny it in front of Paramatma. Because Paramatma is always there. Even if we take body of a dog or a body of a cat, the Paramatma will always be there guiding us to go back home, back to Godhead. He does not give up on us. He is our ever well-wisher. He is the real friend, but right now he is unknown to the jiva. And the Shastra says that it is there, that he is there. We just have to learn how to hear him and follow him. If you don't follow him, you are culpable for your actions. We cannot blame Paramatma. Why did you let me do it? No, you wanted it. That's why you have this free will, minute independence. You wanted to go to Kuwait? Fine. But then what are you going to do there? Waste your life or becoming purified? Paramatma will always want the best for us. We cannot blame anything or anyone what's going on in our life except ourselves. Paramatma is there, and we can hear him when our senses becomes purified and when our mind becomes peaceful. Then you can hear what he's saying to you. Right now, you're hearing your mind, restless mind, tricky mind. Okay?
So this means that we have two souls.
To what?
Soul.
You don't have two souls. What did I say in the beginning? You don't have a soul. You are the soul. I don't have a soul. I am the soul. Can you see the difference here?
Yes, yes.
See, you're thinking you're the body. That's why you're saying that I have a soul. But you're not the body. You are the soul. Can you understand this? This is very simple. If you
Now
can
it's clear.
if you can understand this, you will be trying to function. You should be able to think and properly, because you will be on the transcendental platform, spiritual platform. Right now, you are in the bodily platform, thinking that you're the body, and therefore, I am this body, therefore I just want to be comfortable, I just want to be happy materially, but no. The soul cannot be happy materially. He is spiritual. Can you see the difference here now? You don't
Yes,
say, never ever say, I have a soul. You don't have a soul. You are the soul. You have a body. But the problem is, you think that you are the body. Who is thinking that you are the body? The soul. Because the soul is covered up. That's why, who is the doer? The doer is the material energy. The three modes of material nature. When you do things, actually you are being kind of like forced. You cannot do it. Those who are in the mode of ignorance, they cannot help themselves. Because they identify with the body, and then the modes of ignorance put them into that situation. They are helpless. Now get out of the bodily concept. Be on the Brahma Bhuta platform. No more hankering, no more lamentation. And you can only be on that platform
Yes.
when you become Krishna conscious. Okay?
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, if you have time, can you tell us like how and when you came, like how you came to Krishna consciousness? If it's okay for you.
I can tell that in some other time.
Okay, thank you Maharaj. Thank you very much.
We will
So,
stop here now.
yeah, we are very, very blessed to have your association and for your giving your valuable association through your Vani. And
You want to know how I came to Krishna consciousness? Go to YouTube.
yeah, okay, Maharaj. Sure.
I have like almost half an hour kind of like narration there. So
Okay.
we don't have much time here now. I have another engagement in a couple of hours.
Sure, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj. So definitely
Okay?
we'll request you some more time, please, for your class association. Thank you, Maharaj. And
Thank you.
thank you, Maharaj. And on behalf of all the Kanyadesh devotees assembled here on this online class, we would like to express our heartfelt gratitude for accepting our invitation and giving your association and class. So we'd like to express our gratitude by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra 3 times. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Rama Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare,
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Hare Ram.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Hopefully one day I'll come to Kuwait and have your
Jai.
darshan and sangha, okay?
Sure, Maharaj, it's our fortune. Please, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai
Jai.
Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari
Hare Bol. So
Bo.
let's Bhakti Anugraha Janardana Swami Maharaj
Panchadharma
ki Jai.
Hare
Jai.
Krishna.
Padarubyascha Kripā Sindhubhyeva cha Patitānāṃ
Patitakanam
Pāvanebhyo
Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Namo Namaः
Namaha.
Ananda Koti Vaishnavavrinda ki jai, Srila
Jai.
Jai.
Prabhupada ki
Bol. Hari
jai, Guru
Bo.
Maharaj
Jai.
ki jai. His
Jai.
Holiness Bhakti Anugraha
Hare Krishna.
Janardana Swami
Hare
Maharaj
Krishna.
ki jai.
Jai.
Bye.
Jai.
Bye.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna devotees, there is one announcement for all of you. Actually, we shared in the group. our Srila Prabhupada's 125th birth anniversary is coming. On this very auspicious occasion, our devotees are planning to purchase the land where Prabhupada born. So that video is with us. Actually, they are looking for some support from all of us. One second, I am. You can just see this.
1st September 1896. Yes, this tree is over 140 years old. In 1920s, the maternal uncle of Srila Prabhupada had sold this property to someone else. After that, some 18 families built their houses on it. Later on, the land was acquired by the government, and due to complicated Thika tenancy laws, ISKCON could not purchase this land directly from the residents. So we were working with the government for last 20 years to amend the law so that we can shift these 18 families and land can be given to ISKCON by the government. Finally, it's happening. ISKCON Kolkata needed around 2.65 crore rupees to shift these families, and by the kind donations sent by GBC body, ISKCON temples, sannyasis and devotees, we have collected till today around 1.25 crore rupees, but we are still short of 1 crore rupees, which we need very urgently. We want to shift the remaining families before 31st August 2021 so that a vacant land could be gifted to Srila Prabhupada on his 125th birth anniversary. Only 29 days remains before the 31st August, today being 1st August. So hurry up and donate and be part of history. Each donor's name will be inscribed here. How to donate details is at the end of this video, or WhatsApp me on 9811-237-146 for more details. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, we are getting this wonderful opportunity to serve Srila Prabhupada. If anybody is interested to contribute some Lakshmi on this regard, you can hand over to Anuttam Gopal Prabhu. So we are already having some fund for governmental projects. So we will include in this also, and we will do our needful support from our Kanya Desh Yatra. Thank you very much. And also there is one more request from one of our god brother is admitted in Bangalore. He is also looking for some support. If anybody is interested, you can also participate. These messages are already shared in our groups, in JSS group as well as our Kanya Desh group. So those who are interested, please part of this. Hare Krishna. And also we are looking for a festival on a Monday. And we are actually waiting for the confirmation from Mahavira Prabhu and Mukur Maharaj. Once it confirmed, we will announce it. Everybody can wait for that announcement. Thank you very much for your participation and your association. Any other announcements, Prabhuji?
No,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Prabhu, Puji, Udara Krishna Prabhu's sister's husband. 2 days before we prayed for her. He is in critical stage. Yesterday morning he left the body. So just
Okay.
to.
Now, okay.
Right.
You have, you know the name or not? Okay,
Devi.
no problem.
Devi.
Ravi Prabhu. Ravi Prabhu. Okay. And also our
Vidyasri Mataji.
Vidyasri Mataji's mother also left her body last 2 days before. and Mataji already reached there in time. There was all devotees assembled there and had a kirtan, and they have made one wonderful program for the departure of that Mataji. So on behalf of all the assembled devotees and Kanaya Deshayatra, we will all pray for all these two souls to go back to Godhead by chanting 3 times Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare. Thank you all. So we'll conclude here. Evening we'll have Chaitanya Charitamrita class at 6 p.m. And also we'll be starting our Prahlad Gurukul classes from today onwards. We actually stopped during the summer camp. Will be resumed today. All children can join at 12 o'clock. Also there will be